Didn't see you there, floating in. Welcome to the break. That's right. During this time, in Extra Life, Joe and I are doing something. Maybe going to the bathroom, maybe taking a shower. And in that time, I'm going to show you how to make fried chicken. The only way you want to know how to make fried chicken. The good way. How's everybody doing? How are you doing?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I'm doing great. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to talk as the
You
floating
have to,
voice.
because I'm not going to be able to do this for the entire time.
I know.
We're going to take you through the whole gamut, starting with one of these. A chicken. That's right. This is raised without antibiotics. Also, it is vegetable grain-fed, farm-raised. If you can, try to buy your meats in a humane way. It's more expensive, which is why we don't do it all the time. But it's nice.
We try our best.
We try our best. Nobody's perfect. So I hope you're enjoying what we're doing so far. It's a long time for us. Joe, what are you doing at this point, do you think?
I'm probably applying deodorant.
For the first time?
For the third time. And maybe brushing my teeth. You really, so that's the thing. When you're working, when you're staying up for 24 hours, I like to think of personal needs in terms of Sims bars that you have to fulfill. And hygiene is an important one of those. What do we got here?
I'm going to take you through all of it. Fried chicken from start to finish, the Harlan way. It's not going to be perfect. Look, I'm no trained chef. Don't look at this thinking that I know what I'm doing, because I don't.
You know what? Don't look at this.
Don't look at
Just
this.
don't look at this.
But there's certain things I do know, and when you are using a cutting board, nothing is more frustrating when it's sliding around.
So true.
So if you want to stop it from sliding around, you just wet a towel. It's not going to move. Anyway, we're starting with a whole chicken, because this is going to be in two parts, by the way, because one of the best ways to have fried chicken is with a little bit of like a dry brine. What is a brine, you might ask?
It's my dad.
Brine. A brine chicken, or a brine, is salt. What does the salt do? Well, it tenderizes the meat, so they say. It makes it a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more succulent. It's funny, I was watching a video on marinades and whether or not they do anything. And it's not so much that they penetrate the surface of the meat and change the overall flavor of it, but that it adds flavor on like the surface pre-cooking rather than post. You know, if you're like squeezing lime on steak when it's done versus having lime on the marinade and cooking it off. So I think the way people view marinades are different. Anyway, we're not marinating, we're brining. Not that it really matters.
But there's a difference.
Yeah, well, it's funny because for people who are watching this that listen to Dice Shame, which hopefully is some of us.
What are you doing?
I'm just trimming out some of the chunky neck fat.
You don't want
Or
that?
butt fat, I suppose.
That's the anal fat.
We'll do it. Just a little bit, because it's extremely, I mean, it's not going to be part of our fried chicken.
This chicken was loose.
What was it? Rob from Dice Shame was telling us that he watches videos by Adam Ragusa.
Sure.
You know Adam Ragusa?
I don't think I do.
There was an episode of Dice Shame where we were talking about macaroons. Or macarons. And he was saying that Adam Ragusa did a really interesting video on macarons and macaroons and how they're basically the same thing.
Sure.
And that's why I was watching him at the brining video. So there's a shout out to Rob and Adam Ragusa, because I think Rob is a big fan.
Good job, Rob.
Good job, Rob. So what are we going to do with this chicken? Well, we're going to cut it up into 8 pieces, more or less. We're going to do a hack job of it. It's not going to be great. We're going to start off by removing the spine and then spatchcocking it so it lays flat. Then we're going to, you like that, eh? Then we're going to cut it in half at the breastbone, and then we're going to separate the legs, and then we're going to chop the breasts in half, and we'll see what happens.
That sounds good.
Yeah, probably, right?
The package says this chicken may contain kidneys, so...
I didn't see any.
No?
No. They didn't look super hard yet, but...
They're just little.
They're just little guys. And then we're going to sprinkle it with salt. And then we're going to put some seasonings on it. Maybe we'll start off with that before we do all this stuff.
Cool.
Seasonings can just sit out. bowl.
So cute.
It's so
I
cute.
love that bowl.
You like that, eh?
Yeah.
Simple silver bowl. You know how we do.
Oh, everyone's gonna see into our messy cabinets.
It's okay, I won't open that much. So for the seasoning, we want to do some pretty typical flavors. The pepper grinder is really crappy right now. So you know what, I'll just start grinding. We're going to do some typical flavors, but some basic ones too. We're going to do... Like, look how it's grinding. It's like they're long and thin. You know what? Sometimes, if it's not working, you gotta pull out the big guns, AKA the spice grinder.
It's
Now,
gonna smell like curry.
it does have some curry scents, but you know what? I'm not really worried about that. I think it's gonna be good.
You're not worried about curry?
I'm not worried. I don't worry about curry.
How much black pepper are you putting in?
So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons black pepper. I know it looked like 3, but one was only half full. And then I kind of judged half. I mean, this is all not an exact science. That I'm grinding up first. So sit tight.
Oh, it's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be fine.
Here we go.
It's fine. If you don't have a dedicated spice grinder, may I recommend one? And if you don't want to actually get one, may I recommend going to like a Goodwill and getting an old coffee grinder, because that's what we use.
Well, that's like, we didn't go to Goodwill for that.
No, it was your old one
Yeah,
that
we
I
just
didn't
repurposed.
to get the machine. So anyway, we're doing 2, what did I say, teaspoons? Teaspoons of...
2 teaspoons of ground black pepper in the bowl.
We're gonna do 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. It's the new garlic powder that I got though. See what I mean?
When you
like
said it's not
super
good.
powdery. No, it's not bad. I mean, it smells great.
Oh, it looks kind of like baking powder.
That's what I mean. It's like really, what's the word? There's
Finely ground?
yeah, but like I'm thinking of the word with like
Powderific.
sand. No, when there's the water droplets react to the surface structure of it. in a certain way.
Hydrophobic?
Hydrophobic. That's the word. Then we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of cayenne.
It smells delicious already.
I mean, it's garlic and pepper. But
Oh
yeah.
no.
Then
What's that?
this is sumac.
Show the people at home.
Sort of looks like this. Here. This is sumac. This is a plant, Middle Eastern spice.
But
See?
we grow sumac here.
Yeah, but this is specifically a different type.
It's a different
A
species.
staple in Middle Eastern and Northern African cuisine, the savory flavor and tangy citrus undertones of sumac make it perfect rub for grilled meat, seafood, vegetables. So what is so good about sumac? It is very tangy. It adds a sharpness to chicken specifically that you wouldn't get if you were, if you were going to add lemon or whatever, as we talked about, it would cook. And so if you wanted like that zing, which is funny actually because a lot of people eat fried chicken with fresh lemon wedges or like Tabasco sauce because it has that vinegar punch. So anyway, sumac kind of does that as well a little bit. Gives it a little bit of a zing without actually needing to add any of the cook.
Are you going to put like a list of ingredients on the screen when you're...
No, I'm not going to work that hard at this.
So how much
The whole
sumac
point
was
is-
that? Just 1 teaspoon?
So it should be 6. 6 teaspoons
Total.
total.
Great.
2, right? 2 pepper, 2 garlic,
1.
1 sumac, 1 cayenne.
It's all making sense now. No salt.
No! Because, as I said,
Don't yell at me.
we're going to brine. So, the next thing you want is drop all the things. So you can look at Luke while I do so. Is this. And this. If you've ever brined anything or dry brined anything, you'll know that air on all sides of it is important. We've done dry brine turkey many years.
It's delicious.
2 or 3 years now. It's fantastic. So you want to make sure air can get under it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the chicken apart. we're going to sprinkle it liberally with salt, and then we're going to put it on the rack. And then, in a perfect world, I would leave it for a while, but maybe we'll just leave it for half an hour. We'll pause or whatever. We'll pick it up, and then I'm going to rub about half of this coating on it, and then we're going to leave it for anywhere from like 4 to 8 to 12 to what we're probably going to do is close to like 24 hours. And all that's going to do is with the salt and the spices, just going to flavor the meat. It's going to marinate it, it's going to brine it, it's just going to make it a little bit nicer. So, in the meantime, what do we got here? We got a chicken.
That's the chicken, all right.
A small chicken is what you want because first off, you want them to cook relatively similar, obviously, but you also don't want it to be too, what's the word? Flabby, meaty. You want them to be tender, juicy, especially with the brine and the marinade. We want it to kind of permeate. Okay, so spatchcocking, very, very easy the way I do it. The way most people do it is, obviously this is the breast of the chicken. You can see. All you want to do is you take your kitchen shears and you cut along both sides of the spine. And you can save it for stock if you're a stock person. Ow! We are not stock people.
We're not usually, no.
I mean, we should.
Although it's getting to be that
Soup
season
time?
where we want brue.
Where we want what?
Brue.
What's brue?
That's that German chicken stock I was telling you that my dad.
Oh, when you're
does
sick and all that kind of
come
stuff.
from outside.
There you go. Not cut perfectly. Not cut very well at all. But there you go. And then, so I'll need a knife. Oh, in the sink. Everything else I cleaned and I forgot to
We're
clean.
so prepared.
This definitely wasn't me playing video games upstairs and then going, hey, before we pick up Henry from school, maybe you should just film me do the chicken and we'll make a video of that. Professional kitchen.
That's us.
Always, always sharpen your knives. I didn't.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Always sharpen your knives. Occasionally.
Well, look.
Is that a kidney?
No, it's not. It just looks like a nice little thing. Then, what do we want to do? Cut down here a little bit. See, this is the breastbone. You can kind of just guide it a little bit. And then, see that? This is the bone. And then you just wrap your fingers around it like this. Yank out. Like that.
Whoa, that went so fast.
It was not very clean, but the other knives, I did at least.
Look at that. So this is still just the process of halving the chicken. Making one chicken into two.
Correct. I mean, it's 2 halves now.
You did it.
I did it.
Look at that chicken.
I did it! And then, well, this is where it gets messy. This is where you want to pan away to show my amazing carving skills.
I'm zooming in.
No, you gotta pan to the dog or something. The dog, I say.
Hey, Louie. Louie, are you asleep? Yeah. Hi. This is the most powerful zoom. Louie, go to bed. Good doggy. Lay down. Come on. So confused. Oh, what's that? You have 4 pieces of chicken now.
4 pieces of
Go to
chicken,
bed.
but we want 8 pieces of chick.
How we do?
Well, so this is where people tend to disagree.
Oh no. Are we going to become part of some kind of controversy?
No. We're going to separate these 2 legs, and then we're just going to cut this breast in half. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people don't prefer breast meat. And we've done this before, and what we'll do is we'll buy just thighs and legs. But
Is that because the breast meat can get kind of like
stodgy. Yeah.
stodgy?
Well, it's very dry. It's white meat, right? Stodgy means like thick. I was trying to be British. But yeah, you just keep on me while I cut through this breast in a really unsatisfying way to most people who are going to be watching. So, I said keep on me. So, what other things do we want to talk about for Extra Life? Right now, we're definitely showering. And
we might be kissing.
right now? Oh, we're definitely kissing.
Well, this is definitely going to be showing prior to the Hot Ones challenge.
Definitely. Which means?
So we're probably pre-gaming our mouths with some kind of substance that makes us immune to spice, right?
Which we do.
Which we do every year.
Have we? I've literally never pre-gamed a substance that's made me immune to my
I know, I'm joking around.
I know, but I'm thinking maybe this year we should.
Like what do you think would be good? I think acids would be bad. So like a vinegar or a brine, as we are calling it.
A brine?
We pre-brine our mouths to make us immune.
I like that.
But maybe just a fine cheesy coating.
A cheesy coating?
A cheesy coating.
Before we what?
Before we eat the spicy wings.
Okay.
So if we just dust our mouths with Parmesan, let's say.
I like that.
That might fill in the tongue pores. Like cheese.
I don't think you can cheat it. I think we've talked about this many times over the years.
It'll find you no matter how you hide.
And the long and short of it is just no matter how you do it, it's going to find you.
Harlan,
There we go.
I would love to hear about your most memorable Halloween costumes.
I think that's a great
In
idea.
the thick of Halloween.
In the meantime, now you can look at the chicken now that I've cut it. Those are your 8 pieces of chicken.
Harlan, why are you washing your hands so much?
Well, because you should always wash your hands while cooking with raw meats, especially chicken. You can have salmonella. And also, it's just gross. So, before I talk about that, I'm going to salt this. We're going to put the chicken pieces on the rack like so. We got the 2 thighs. We got 1 piece of breast. We got 2 pieces of breast. It's perfect for our family. We got the little henny pieces. We got the Joe Mama pieces. And liberally. And I mean, you probably want to do about, in an ideal world, 3 teaspoons of salt, probably. I'm doing a little bit more, because in this house, if there's anything true, is that we like salt.
We do.
Now you get to see the ugly undersides.
It's beautiful. But this shit's all gonna get covered up with like flour and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna get fried, so no one's gonna see it.
No one's going to see it. We'll just eat around the rib. Again, perfect world. So my costume, my favorite costume?
Yeah, your most memorable costume.
My most memorable comes to mind immediately. It was Phantom of the Opera.
Cute.
And I don't even remember, I don't think I'd ever seen Phantom of the Opera.
So why did you wear...
So my mother and my father had a picture at my house growing up of the Phantom of the Opera production that was in Toronto. They must have seen it, I think. In fact, I remember them talking about it.
That's funny. My parents saw that.
Yeah, and it was very big. Not much to do around Toronto.
My parents didn't even live in Toronto, and they drove for 5 hours to come and see it.
It's amazing. Yeah, so basically, they had this picture in the basement, and it was like a portrait of the Phantom. And he had this white mask.
And you're like, ooh, that's a dashing scary.
Well, I don't actually remember point A to point B. I don't remember ever saying, oh my god, I want to be that, or man, that's cool. But I definitely remember when I was the Phantom, I was excited. Like, it wasn't something that I remember actively pursuing, but I remember, so I must have, context clues gives me information that I must have wanted that. But anyway, my dad, I remember I bought the mask, and I had the cape, and I had the hat, which I was very excited about. And my dad bought this, like, putty, like face putty, for, like, the grotesque.
Oh no, underneath.
Yeah, but I had never seen that, so I didn't understand what he was doing. And I remember he was like, no, you're gonna like this, it's good. So I was like, okay. I guess kind of what we do to Henry, right? Because, like, he doesn't understand the full context of certain things. We're like, no, trust me, this is Batman, you know? Anyway, and then, so he, like, took off the mask, and he would, like, put the putty on. It would look, like, really grotesque. And then we'd put on the mask, and he was like, okay, so then you can take off the mask and reveal. and I hated it. I was just like, no, I don't. Not in like a bitchy way. I was just kind of like, no, I don't want to wear that, Dad. Like, I really don't want to. I don't understand why he needs to look
also,
like this.
you don't like stuff on your skin.
Well, that might have been even the start of it, to be honest, because it was like a really gross, pink-colored, like greasy SFX makeup. You know, that like made you feel
Dirty.
really dirty and really uncomfortable.
And slimy.
Really dirty, really slimy, really uncomfortable. So that might have been the birth of my. And FYI, if you don't know, Harlan does not like any creams or lotions other than deodorant on his skin. Why is that, Joe?
Because it makes you feel gross and sticky and weird.
Yeah, just like my dad did when I
Gives
was
you the heebie-jeebies.
a child, I guess. I wonder if that is the genesis of all that. I wouldn't put it past me.
I mean, I'm sure you've worn face paint a number of times. Like, you've been in stage productions. I can imagine them putting stage makeup on you.
I don't think so.
You didn't watch stage production?
Yeah, oh, I've definitely been in stage productions. I don't remember. Maybe
They
I was like,
definitely put stage makeup on you.
what if I didn't allow them?
You was karate chopped.
Yeah, I didn't clean that. All I did was wipe off. Because you know what? When it comes to dry stuff, I'm a firm believer in this.
If you
Using a spoon.
just use a spoon for fucking garlic powder and then you just wipe it,
Yeah.
it's clean.
I mean, it's not clean, but it's definitely not like...
clean.
Anyway, so at this point, what you want to do is you want to leave this for about, like I said, 30 minutes at least. The longer the better, I think. All it's going to do is going to permeate the skin. However, as I also said, when I put this coating on, we're going to, you normally leave it for, again, 4 hours overnight, whatever. We're going to leave it for like 24 hours. So I kind of think the combination of the salt with this is going to do its own brining thing anyway. So we're going to want to take half of this, more or less, and we're going to coat the chicken. Now, I recognize that this is only half the recipe, so you're kind of confused at this point. You're kind of like, okay, but what's the story? Morning Glory. Well, let me tell you, when this is done, we're going to bring it out. We're going to get it up to room temp. We're going to prepare our batter, which is going to be buttermilk, flour, and then the other half of this sort of combined with a bit of cornstarch. And then we're going to fry it. Also, another tip I learned from Adam Ragusa is that when you're cooking chicken, not specifically frying, but just cooking in general, cooking similar colored pieces like dark meat versus white meat in the same, bath or whatever.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, that was something I was like, oh, that's smart.
That smells so good.
It's interesting, I find with music and cooking, I have the same vibe that less is more at times. Because, what?
Take a piece of chicken, pat the other piece of chicken.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, now we're just trying to get coating all over.
Less is more.
Less is more. I really like an underproduced music sometimes, like a score that's just piano, that's sort of meaningful, and like the music of Malevolent or something like that. And oftentimes, same with chicken, this is only 4 ingredients. Cayenne, sumac, black pepper, salt, I guess technically, so 5. And garlic powder. But it has a really nice smell to it. So this is the problem with that powder I was telling you about. I was complaining to Joe about that hydrophobic nature of the garlic powder beforehand.
I don't think it's hydrophobic because it's formed a wet ball. It's
Hydrophobic?
I think it's
Why, it's
oligophobic. It doesn't like the oil of the chicken skin.
Willa. Anyway, I'm using a little bit more than half probably, but you know what? It doesn't really matter.
You're not my mom.
Well, at the end of the day, I can always make more if I really care.
That would have taken you a very long time to grind 2 teaspoons of black pepper with a shitty grinder.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I've been asking for a Christmas gift for the past 2 years. I'll get it. I'll get it this year. I'm sure. wash my hands again. So, that is the beginning, or the end, of part 1, I suppose. At this point, we've got our chicken ready. It is just going to sort of sit in this powder for as long as we can sort of allow it to. You know, I don't think it's gonna be the world's end for 24 hours. And then tomorrow, when we cook this bad boy up, we're gonna pull it out, like I said, get to room temperature, buttermilk, a little splash of bourbon. Yeah, buttermilk, bourbon. We're gonna dredge, coat, fry. And then, as a little added treat, I think we're gonna do waffles as well. That's right, we're gonna have, that will be pre-mixed batter, I think. Just because honestly, at the end of the day, making waffle batter from scratch versus thing, it's different, but not worth the effort. Like, to me, there's a degree of how much effort do you want to put in versus how much better is the product. And it is better, but the effort of mixing and measuring and you know, just getting all these bags out, it's not worlds better than just using a premix. So, versus, you know, you don't even say it, because you totally are off the mark. Anyway, so yeah, get this in the fridge, anywhere from 4 overnight, or we're doing 24 hours, and we will see you. Well, don't go anywhere, because
You don't go anywhere.
It's going to start right away.
Yeah.
But from our time, we'll see you tomorrow. But just wait a second.
Just stay right there.
Yeah.